So for lesson 6, basic drawing tools, we're going to be looking at the curvature tool a little bit as well as the pencil tool. I'm also going to show you a couple different things that you can use as stroke options. So what we're going to do is kind of use these tools on a pre-made design just so you can kind of get use of them. So you're going to need to download the document that's in the tutorial for lesson 6. And it's going to look kind of like this. We are going to start over here on this one right here. So what we need to do is come down here to the bottom, do the drop down and do 2 leaf. And we're going to come to this one right here. Now, one of the tools that we're going to look at is the curvature tool. And the curvature tool is used to create new paths that basically curve. So you can do this with the pen tool, and once you get really good at the pen tool, I don't know how much you're going to use the curvature tool, but it is one of those that you can use, and it just works slightly different than the pen tool. So they both can kind of create some of the same things, but they work differently from each other. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to create this leaf right here. So you're going to come over and you're going to grab your curvature tool, and it looks just like the pen tool, but it has this little SE shape coming out of it, and we're going to select it. And right now the problem is these layers are locked. We need to create a new layer. So let's go into layers and just create a new layer just by clicking on new layers. We'll put it right at the top. You can name it if you want. I'm just going to leave it layer 7. This is just going to be what we're going to draw on. Okay, so with the curvature selected, you're going to go ahead and put the pointer on A right here, this little blue square, and click it. Okay, and then we're going to come over to B and we're going to click it. And now you can see that even though I am not holding anything, I'm not holding down my mouse at all, you can see that this line is going to create that curve. Now, we're not worried about it fitting perfectly yet because we need to come all the way around this shape and then we can make adjustments to it. Okay, so you're going to come here, and when you move your cursor, you'll see it's just that little fountain pen with the line coming out of it. But if you put that cursor right on top of the anchor point that you made in B, your cursor is going to change to an arrow with a little bullseye on it. And we're going to go ahead and double click that to convert this to a corner point. So now when I pull my my curvature tool up, you can see it's now a straight line. Yes, I know the line from A to B is straight. That's okay. We're going to make adjustments to it. So now we're going to come over here to C. And we're going to click point C. Again, it's going to be straight. That's okay. And again, if you move, you'll see it starts bending it again. Okay, and if we press the Alt key while we're doing this, you're going to see that there's a little like diagonal line next to the pen tool. And we want to create a new anchor point on D. Okay, now we can come back here and you can see if I put my cursor over C, it turns back into that arrow with a little bullseye on it. And now I'm going to kind of pull this one so I can kind of get that shape. Now the problem is I still have my fill turned on in this one, so I can't see what I'm drawing inside of it. So I'm just going to come over here on the toolbar and I'm going to click to have no fill. There we go. Now I can kind of see what I'm doing. Now I can move this C1, and I want to kind of get it to line up with this little dashed line right here, right outside the D box. Okay, then to get these other curves to make, I'm going to come in between the C and the B, somewhere on that path, and I'm going to click it, and I'm going to drag it down and kind of start pushing and pulling that along that line so that I can get it to curve closer to where that that dashed line is. And again, you can come over here to the D1 and you can kind of adjust it, and you can go back and forth until you get it to have this nice little curve across the top. And then from the D, I'm still attached to it. You can see I'm still attached to it. So I'm going to come down here to the A, and it's going to automatically, whoops. I'm going to click the A. Why is it not working for me? There it goes. Just had to wait for it to go right on the right spot. So now you can see this one's a little off. And now I can, make adjustments to this one some and be able to push and pull it. And I'm just going to push the point that was on A all the way over here kind of to the left and get it to curve and fit that form. So this comes in really handy for that purpose, where you can get things to move and kind of shift. And let's say I wanted another curve here. I could always put my curvature tool up here. I could make another one, and then I could manipulate that one as well if I needed more of a manipulation than what we already had. Okay, so next I want to show you a little bit about the pencil tool. So if you come down here to the next one down, which is our board 3, which is plant, you're going to see these nice little shapes. And for these little shapes, we're just going to do a couple little simple ones. I just want you to kind of play with the pencil tool. And for the pencil tool, it is right down here under your shaper tool. And it's right there is your pencil tool. The pencil tool is a free form tool that allows you to just be able to draw. And so using your mouse, you can simply just draw like you were drawing with a pencil, or if you're using a stylus, it works the same way as well. The stylus is going to give you a little bit more control. You're just going to kind of pull it up and then draw back down with it. And if you're unhappy with it, you can always make adjustments to that tool so you can clean it up a little bit. So you can see right here, it's really small, but there is a point right here. If I grab it with my I can grab that with my direct selection tool. It's right there, and click on it, and then I can kind of make adjustments to these if I needed to, if I wanted them to be a little bit cleaner. Okay, this tool works really well for things that you need to freehand or that you want to draw yourself. If you're not worried about it being like the perfect square or the perfect rectangle, if you're wanting it to be a little bit more hand drawn, the pencil tool is really good for that. And you do have some control over it. I mean, you can make a little bit more precise if you wanted to. So if I just clicked here on this little orange dot on the bottom right and drag it around the bottom of the shape. Whoops, I'm on the wrong tool. Let me go back to my pencil tool. Sorry. Go back to my pencil tool, and then I can drag it around and make this curve. You can see I didn't do very well at it. But now if I wanted it to go even all the way up, all I have to do is press Alt while I'm doing it, and I can make a completely straight line. And it'll make sure it stays straight for me. And you can see I am completely off the line here, but you can get the point of how this tool works. And then I can draw back around the other curve. And again, press and hold Alt, click that point, and I can draw the straight line again and make them connect. Okay? So that's what those two tools, how those two tools work. They're the main two tools for this lesson. Okay, so I'm going to switch over to Artboard 4. And I'm going to use my pen tool, and I'm just going to go ahead and create a straight line. And then you can see I'm attached, so I'm going to hit escape to detach from it. Okay, you can also use your curvature tool, you can use your pencil tool, you can use the line segment tool, anything you want. But all I did was I clicked right here with my pen tool. Then I went over to the right hand side, I clicked again. I pressed shift while I was doing it, that way I had a nice straight line, and then when I was done, you just hit escape. So with the you can create special strokes, and you can do this using a lot of different strokes built on top of each other. You can create dash lines and dot lines, and then how you mix those up. And what I did was I'm going to include this document right here into the helpful sites. so you can kind of play with it and see what the different lines do. But you can create these dash strokes. These are really easy. Probably the easiest way to do it is the dash stroke. So let's go ahead and turn this line into a polka dot. So I'm going to grab my selection tool and make sure that path is selected. And then you just come over here to stroke, and you're going to turn on this dashed line right here. So you click on the actual word stroke and do dash line. And you can see it already dashes it for you at 12. But we want to create this little dotted line that's up here. So very specific line. So what you're going to do is you're going to change your weight to 3 and make sure end caps are round. And then we're going to do a dash gap of 0.6. So you're like, none of this makes sense. It's okay. So right here, we're going to change our stroke to 3. We're going to put cap to round it, which is right here. And what that's going to do is make those ends of those dashes round. And then right now we're on a 12 point dash, or a 12 pixel dash. And I want to change that to a 0 pixel dash by a 6 pixel gap. And you can see it turns it into this dotted line for us. This comes in really handy whenever you're doing a design that you need something like this for, a dash line or a dotted line, so you don't have to go back and like individually do it. So let's just do another one. So I'm just going to, again, grab my pen tool, click, press and hold shift, click, and then I'm stuck here, so I'm going to escape. And you can see it comes up with the same line, but this time let's do a dash dot dot, okay? So this is line E. So on this handout, it says to make your weight 6 and end caps round, and then we're going to do a 12, 0, 12, 0, 12. So again, with this line selected, with our selection tool, we're going to click on the word stroke, and we're going to make sure we're going to go up on this. What did it say? 6. We're going to take our stroke up to our weight up to 6. And then down here, we're going to do a dash 12, a gap of 0. Whoops, and I kicked myself out of it by switching screens. 0, 12, 0, 12. And that's going to put these little gaps in between here. Okay, so now you can create something like this. Now, for your, you can also build them up on top of each other and be able to create all these different things. This one's a little, some of these are kind of hard to see just because the original handout was in color and I don't have the color copy anymore. But you can create, you know, train tracks. You can create this like swirly line. This one looks like tennis shoes. F looks kind of like tennis shoes. Or you have these little circles. And all you have to do is follow the rules across. So if you wanted to create, let's say, D, you would make 2 paths. And then the first one, you would have it be a 10-point weight. You can make it any color you want. You're going to make the end caps round and then do a 0, 10 dash gap. And then for the second line, you put it right on top of it and make it a 5 weight. You want it to be a white. You want it to have a butt end cap. And then you're going to do a 5, 5 dash gap on it. And it's going to make it look kind of like this. So this is just one of those things. You may not use it very often, but this handout kind of comes in handy when you're just doing a weird little decoration every once in a while. So it's something good to hold on to. So I'm going to have this in the helpful sites for you as well. Okay, so now back to our tools that we used. And you can use any of these on this last part if you want to. So I'm going to come up down here and I'm going to go back to number 1 main. And then there is a swan right here. And I want you to just practice your curve and your pencil tools, just doing these, going back and forth. Don't worry about these handles that are sticking out right here. You're just going to kind of weave it back and forth. So let's start at A. And we're going to go to B. Oops, and I'm still on that dash stroke. So I'm going to come over here and turn off this dash line. And I'm going to go back down to like a, let's go to a 2. Okay. So it's already there. So now I can come to this C. And I'm going to press and double click on that anchor point. But now I can come down here and I can pull this one here. I can add one in the middle here and I can kind of curve it, and we can make adjustments to these 2 points until I get it to where it almost lines up, or it lines up the best I can. Okay, so then again, press Alt, click on that last point, and now you can see I'm straight again. And I'm going to go to D, and I'm going to go to E, and now I can come back here and I can make any adjustments to any of these that I want. If I want to add an extra point in, I can do that as well and kind of curve it and kind of get it to fit. And now this is a nice straight line, so I need to reset that again. So Alt and click on the E anchor, and then it makes me have a nice straight line. Okay, so I want you to just practice and kind of keep going around the swan, do the little cattails that are sticking up there, and just kind of play with these. If for some reason you want to add in some of the dotted lines or dash lines because you want to play with them and try them, feel free to do that. So you can get this to look however you want it to look. If you have any questions, shoot me an email and I'll answer them for you.